Okay, here I'm going to ask you guys as a class, you guys answer all together as best you can. This line has a positive or negative relationship?
Negative.
Okay, everyone? Negative. Someone explain to me why it has a negative relationship. Josh?
Well, it starts on the left side and goes down.
Downward from left to right. Good. All right, somebody or all of us are going to get the slope using the rise over run. Use these 2 points. Find that slope. So m equals rise over run. You can use this point first or that point first, but just find me what's that change in y, what's that change in x, and get me a slope. And you're going to get one of 2 answers, but they actually both equal the same thing if you simplify it. So I'm going to go from this point to this point. What did I do to go up or down? I went down 2. So what's that? Negative 2. And then I go to the right, how many? 5, which is a positive 5. And what's my slope of this line? Negative 2/5, right? How many of you went from this point to this point? So you went up 2, and then you went to the left 5, and we know that these two are the same value. You guys good on that? Okay, now what we're going to do to make sure you really understand slope is you're going to get me the slope using the slope formula. So who remembers the slope formula? Okay, Chelsea?
Is it y to the second?
Y sub 2,
Y sub 2 minus y sub 1, and then x sub 2 minus x sub 1.
Okay, go ahead and use that. You're going to put your numbers where they belong. And you can use either point first, but you have to be consistent. And I would recommend this. Just go left to right. And I'm going to ask people what number goes in what spot. Let's just all do, this is your first point, and this is your second point. So here are your first coordinates, here are your second coordinates. You're like, what are you talking about? Remember, there are 2 x's and 2 y's? That's the order I want you to give them to me. Okay, what is y sub 2, Cole?
2.
Y sub 2,
0.
yeah, if you're going to go from left to right, it's going to be this second y. Okay, what's y sub 1, Parker?
Y sub 1 is 0.
So y, the first y coordinate?
Oh, 2.
2. What's x sub 2? Alyssa? X sub 2. If this is the first point and that's the second. Sorry? 5. And then what's x sub 1, Mandy?
0.
All right, which hopefully makes easy math. What's 0 minus 2?
Negative 2.
-2. What's 5 minus 0? And did we get the same slope as we did using the rise over run? Yes. This is review. This is basically last week. If you could do all this, you're good up to this point. Okay. Now what I want us to do is we're looking at intercepts. And what does the word intercept mean usually? What does it mean to intercept? You can think football. You can think, a lot of sports I guess you could think of. But just intercept in general. Yeah, Peter?
It's basically blocking the path of something.
Okay, I would say getting into the path of something else. Yeah, getting to the path of something else, and that has different implications in different ways. So, this is what I want you to do. You're going to write X-Intercept, and we're going to find out what we're talking about here on our graph. So, X-Intercept, what is that? It's the X coordinate, and the definition is long, and it seems complicated, but it's actually very easy to find and hopefully quick when you guys use it a lot. It's the X coordinate of the point where the graph crosses, and that's where that intercept word comes from, crosses the x-axis. So it's the x-coordinate of the point where the graph crosses the x-axis. Okay? So if you get that down, we're going to move back to the original graph and see what that is. Okay. And I'll come back to this if you didn't get it all down. Looking at my graph, where does my line cross the x-axis? Where does it hit the x-axis? Could somebody give me the ordered pair where my line crosses the x-axis? That's where it crosses the y-axis. 5, 0. How many of you would agree this point right here is where it crosses the x-axis? Right here. Would you guys agree with that? Right there. Okay, so going back to my notes, the ordered pair is 5, 0. Okay, that's the point. The point is 5, 0. But I don't want the point. I want the x-coordinate. What's the x-coordinate of this point? 5. So we would say this. The x, and I'm going to abbreviate here, X-intercept is equal to 5. That's what you want to get down. The X-intercept is equal to 5. That means my line crosses the x-axis at positive 5. That's exactly what it means. All right, using that info, who can tell me what the Y-intercept is? Using that definition, give me the definition of Y-intercept. So I don't know how you're going to do that if I didn't write it. Davis?
The y-intercept is the y-coordinate of the point, and the graph crosses the y-axis.
There you go. So the Y-intercept. No, I'm going to show you how you can make that abbreviated. Is the blank 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 blank. It's that definition. You just substitute x with y. So just put it's the same definition. Does anyone know what the ordered pair was on my coordinate plane? So where does my line hit the y-axis? I'm going to go back here. Where does my line hit the y-axis? Josh? 0, 2. Right here it hits that y-axis. So that's the point. 0, 2. So what's my y-intercept? What's the y-coordinate of that ordered pair? 2. So, yeah, you could write it all again. You don't have to. It's the same definition, just y is replacing x. Yes, ma'am?
What if it says it was 0, 2, it was like 1 and 2?
Okay, good question. The x-intercept and the y-intercept are always going to have a 0 in one of those spots, always, which is cool. And we'll actually talk about that in just a bit, because then that's going to help us figure out without the graph. Davis, did you have a question?
No, it's the
Same one? Okay. All right. This is what we're going to do. We're going to look at another graph. We're going to see how you're going to do it on your own. If you just have a graph, how do you find the x and y-intercept? So let's look at page 409, number 8. 409, number 8. And on number 8, you see the instructions say, state the x-intercept and the y-intercept for each line. So let's see here. Rachel, on graph number 8, where does my line intersect the x-axis? -2, 0. So this is what I'm going to put. -2, 0. Okay, that's the ordered pair. But what's the what's the x coordinate in that ordered pair? Davis? So what's the x-intercept? It's just -2. That's my answer for the first one. So you can use the ordered pair, and then you get your x-intercept. Okay, where does that graph hit the y-axis? So what point does it hit the y-axis? Cole? 0, 1. Okay, so what's the y-coordinate of that ordered pair? Yes, Sarah? 1. Positive 1. That's your y-intercept. Is that hard to find? It seems kind of like you just look at it. Where's it across the x-axis? Where's it across the y-axis? And then you get it. So it's pretty straightforward. Okay, I want you to do it for number 9. Get me the x and y-intercepts for number 9. I will be right back. Okay, on number 9, Sarah, do you have a question or you want the answer? What's the X-intercept for number 9, Sarah?
2.
It seems like positive 2, but it's kind of in between 1 and 2. You see how that point is like, yeah, 1.5. So you could have written 1.5 or 1.5. Which one do I prefer? Either one. That's when we're talking about intercepts, by the way. You can have a mixed number. Can you have a mixed number for the slope? No. So this is intercept different. So either one of these is okay. Okay, who has the Y-intercept? Matt, did you get the Y-intercept on that? So where does that line hit that Y-axis? So if you're looking at number 9, where does that blue line hit the Y-axis? 3. So how many of you got 3 as your Y-intercept? All right, how many of you think this is pretty easy to find those intercepts? Okay, good. Good. I hope they're easy. I want you to notice something here. This question was asked, I think, by a couple of you. Maybe some of you had it but didn't say it. Did you guys notice something about those ordered pairs? Do you guys notice that one of those numbers is always going to be? Okay. You think you can remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to example number, I think it's 1. Can someone read those instructions for example number 1? Murphy?
Graph y equals 3 times x minus 6 using the x and y intercepts.
Okay. They give me y equals 3 halves x minus 6. So let me ask you guys a question. Did they give me a graph here? Do I have a graph that they gave to me? No. So how do I know what the x and y intercepts are?
You graph it.
Okay, you can graph it, right? Can't you just graph that? Then you can look at where they cross the x and y intercept. There is another way to find it based on those ordered pairs that we were talking about. Okay, here's how you do it. I'm going to do it a couple times this way. I want to find the x-intercept, and I want to find the y-intercept. Okay, I want to find the x-intercept, and I want you guys to observe a pattern. Going back, my x-intercept has y equaling what? What does y equal on the x-intercept? 0. Okay, that's interesting. What does my, we're talking about x-intercept. What does my x-intercept ordered pair have y equaling?
0.
Huh. Do you know what I can say about that? Whenever you're trying to find the x-intercept, what does the y coordinate always equal? Okay, so this is what you do. To find the x-intercept, make y equal 0. Make y equal 0. And then solve for x. Like solve what for x? Remember that equation up there?
Oh.
That's what we're going to use. Okay, so can I ask you this? What should I make y equal?
0.
So I'm going to put 0 equals 3 halves x minus 6. So I want to solve for x, but how do I do that? Have you ever done these kind of problems before? Yeah, it's solving for x here. X is being multiplied by 3 halves and subtracted with 6. What do I do first? Not divide yet. I'm going to add 6. So you want to undo it in reverse order. So it's being multiplied by 3 halves and then subtracted with 6. So add 6 to both sides. I get 6 equals 3 halves x. That got canceled out. Hey, you're just solving equations. Yeah. And that's okay. Okay, now can I ask somebody, what do I do to get x by itself? Because right now it's still being multiplied by 3 halves. So how do I get rid of that 3 halves? Peter? Okay, you can divide both sides by 3 halves. Does anyone remember you could do something else as well? Sarah back there?
Multiply by 2 3.
I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of that fraction. Multiply both sides by 2/3. Okay, and what you need to be careful of is this. What's 3 halves times 2/3? A big fat 1, right? Not 0. So don't those all just cancel each other out? And then I'm left with x, and then all I have to figure out, what's 2/3 times 6? 12/3, which is equal to? So x equals 4. Do you know what my x-intercept is?
4.
Yeah, it's right here. X-intercept is 4.
Yeah.
Okay, if I, to solve for my x-intercept, have to make y equal 0, what should I make equal 0 to find my y-intercept? X. I'm going to make x equals 0. Solve for, what do you think? Y. Solve for y. Solve what for y? You remember that equation?
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, we got to do this again. Okay, so y equals 3/2 times what? 0 minus 6. Oh man, I can't believe you have to do this again. So, okay, let's do it. I got to solve for y. What's 3/2 times 0?
0.
Oh, 0. Okay. Y equals 0 minus 6. What does y equal?
6.
Yeah, because what's 0 minus 6? It's just negative 6. So what's your y-intercept? Negative 6. Which one do you think is easiest to solve for? The y-intercept. I like the y-intercept. Can you guys quote me on that tomorrow? I like the y-intercept. Oh, he likes me back. Okay, yes.
I thought one of them had to have a 0.
Yes, they both have zeros. Like this, you know what the ordered pair represented here? It's 4, 0. And then what's the ordered pair represented here? 0, negative 6. Yep. So that's how we got those. You see how they both have a 0 in it? Guys okay with that? All right, now all we have to do is put it on a graph. Yeah, you're not doing many of these. Don't feel too bad. I think that's what we got. So this is how I'm going to give you a little strategy for graphing these. Okay, you draw your coordinate plane. And you notice how x, the highest number I'm going to need, is positive 4. So I'm just going to go 4 up. So I'm going to go here 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I know that's as far as I need to go. And then on the, oh wow, that is not the x-axis. This is the x-axis. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Pardon me on that. On the y-axis, I need to go how far down?
Negative
6. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's as far as I need to go. Sorry about that. Don't quote me on that. Okay.
You don't do the whole left side?
Yeah, you don't have to do the left side because you're not going to put anything there. Watch what happens. Where does x equal positive 4? Isn't it right here? So we're just going to put a little circle, little point there. And where does y equal negative 6? Down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I have to graph this line? Oh, just connect the points. That's your graph. Let's see here. Who's paying attention? Scout. Positive or negative slope?
Positive.
Are you positive about that?
Pretty positive.
Pretty positive. You're correct. Positive. It goes left to right up. Can anyone give me what that slope is right away? And you can look. You can look.
Oh, I get it.
No, give me the whole slope. Like, what are the numbers? You go from here to here. You go up 6 over. Sorry, you go up 6 over 4.
4, David.
3 over 2.
3 over 2. Slope is 3. You guys okay?
No.
Okay. So your slope would have been 3/2. You don't have to find that on these problems, but you should be able to. By the way, it's really easy to find your slope because all you have to do is count back and then count back to the origin and then away from the origin. Those are your two numbers. Okay. I want you guys to do on page 409, number 10. You need to get the x and y intercepts, and then you graph your intercepts on a coordinate plane, connect them with a line. So number 10 on page 409.
Y always equal.
Let me show you if you're kind of unsure. So first we get the equation, x minus 8. we're trying to find the X-intercept and the Y-intercept. And it doesn't matter which one you do first. I just do X and Y. If I'm trying to find the X-intercept, what do I make Y equal? 0. And then I solve for, and I'm writing this for your benefit, for your notes, solve for X. All right, so I'm looking at this equation. What does Y equal? So 0 equals X minus 8. So then I have to find what X is. Sorry, number 10, page 409. So what did I make Y equal? I made it equal 0. So all I do is I substitute. You're going to have to graph it at the end, yep. And I'll show you how to graph that one again without having to do the whole coordinate plane. Okay, what does X equal here? What's X going to equal? Solve for it. So what do I do? X minus 8, how do I undo that? I'm going to add 8 to both sides. I get 8 equals X. So what's my X-intercept? Positive 8. Oh, on this one? Are you doing the Y-intercept or X? Okay, so here you have X minus 8, right? But you have to add 8 to both sides. Mm-hmm. All right, for the Y-intercept, what should I make X equal?
0.
Yeah, sorry. For the Y-intercept, I should make X equals 0. And then I solve for Y. So if I'm trying to find the Y-intercept, make X equals 0. Okay, what should I replace X with up here? 0. All right. Y equals 0 minus 8. Oh, Y equals negative 8. You see how you just combine those two, get negative 8? So what's my Y-intercept? Negative 8. Yeah, be careful with your signs because that's going to be a big difference. If you switch the signs, you might get a positive graph when really it was a negative graph. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and draw it out, sketch it out right here, right in the middle. Can anyone tell me how far I need to go on these axes? I have to go 8 on the x-axis, so I'm just going to go 8 tick marks to the right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then where do I go on the y-axis? 8. Good, down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Put my dot here. Put my dot there. And and yeah. The pressure got to me. This line has a positive or negative relationship? Positive. Someone give me the slope. Go. Slope. I want it. Complete. Oh, it's positive 1. You go 8 up, 8 over. What's that? 8 over 8, which is 1. It's a slope of 1. So here, that's okay. From here to here, don't I have to go, if I'm finding the slope, I go 8 up and then 8 over. So that slope is 8 over 8, which is just a big fat 1. Okay. Wow, that's it? That's it.
Your homework is?
Tonight, the first night of the week. 17 to 33, odd. And then 50 to 53, found, located in your books, starting with page 409 and proceeding to 410, where it ends. Goodbye.